Mark Johnson, Iconica Sight and Sound Studio, and we're gonna draw a dragon. Yahoo! Okay, so this is just a going to be like a thumbnail sketch. This one took about 20, 30 minutes maybe, I'm guessing. I'm not sure exactly what I'm drawing yet. I just know it's going to be kind of snake-like. It's going to end up being a dragon. So I've got that S that give me an idea of what a snake spine would be doing. That's kind of a good thing for drawing in general, is give yourself a basic action line. I think that's what it's called. That expresses the movement of the body, or the form, not form, the contour of the body. No, that's not it either. It expresses the overall movement that goes through the body. There you go. Now I'm kind of getting a little more, sure of where I'm heading. You see, I'm kind of darkening the belly there and adding a shoulder, which I find out later is way too low. Because of what I do is I kind of twist the body some so that the chest is showing more, and that shoulder becomes way too low. So you'll see me later on, like 20 minutes into this, me changing the shoulder. What I do, which is weird, is when I'm drawing, I'm just drawing, and I'm just doing it for me, and it turns out decent. When I'm drawing for a video, like on camera, I'm always thinking, what is it I'm wanting to show? What is it I'm trying to teach? What is it I'm wanting them, would they like this? And then I'm not thinking much about my drawing. So it ends up very different, which I think is true of anybody. So here you see me doing doing an arm, and I started off with his circles, or those balls. Kind of gave me the general idea of what's going on with the muscles, and I'm kind of creating, anatomically at least, human arms, or the basic structure of a human arm. But these are for a dragon, so they're not human at all. What I've been trying to learn is laying down some shading to begin with, so that I've got something other than this glaring white paper, which is kind of scary to work on. So you'll see me do that at some point. I should have done it to begin with. And it also gives you something to erase if you want highlights. Okay. Clearly I'm drawing ahead. And then you'll see me later realizing this is a bad idea. I need to draw the form. So here I'm drawing a square coming towards us, a cube rather, and another one coming towards us that will operate as the snout of my dragon, which clearly it's now a dragon. That's much smarter than just drawing the outline. The outline suggests something flat. Drawing these shapes like a cube, cylinder, is more indicative of a, indicative, big word, more indicative of, now I can't talk, of the three-dimensional space that you're trying to represent. There we go. Let's just look at this for a little bit. Now, at this point, I probably should have checked out the inside of my mouth to see what it looks like inside there, but I'm just guessing from things I've drawn before. That's that little bit of gullet, I guess, that hangs down on like seagulls or a lot of animals, your grandma, my grandma. Sorry, that wasn't an insult. Your mama. Sorry. Anyways, that just came out. My apologies. But older people, they have those, that neck that is, you know what I'm saying. So I'm putting some detail on here. Probably shouldn't be doing that yet. This is where I'm, instead of just drawing like I normally draw, I'm trying to think, what is it I need to show them, or show my audience. And so I'm going to detail before I even have the body drawn out. Back leg coming in there. I think I changed this up. I'm not sure. We'll see. It's on a rock or something. Some toes hanging over a rock. Now the tail. I'm just kind of letting my hand do what it wants. Well, not really. It's kind of guided, but I'm not trying super hard to be exact. And I'm kind of doing what is called throwing a line. See, I'm starting and then just kind of flipping my wrist in a certain direction. That's a good way to handle these things. It gives you a nice line. It's more fluid. It's a softer, more attractive line. Now what I'm doing here on the belly of the tail is using some contour lines to suggest that curve of the tail, and it's wrong there. I'm curving the wrong way. And that would be on the underside. So you see me erasing it. Good job, Mark. Up, and I drew it back. So clearly it hasn't occurred to me what's going on there. Fix it, Mark. Come on, fix it. That makes sense. That the underside would be underneath it. Then the curve would start going the other way. Then the curve would be on the bottom of there. Most of it's close. There's my rock. Getting rid of the foot. We'll put the tail in front in this case. Yeah, there's a guy that I've been watching who does wonderful creatures. This is a plug for him. Free plug. His channel, I don't know his name, but his channel is called Drawing Sessions. Drawing, Sessions. Sessions. He's a creature designer, I guess, or at least that's what I gather. And he's just wonderful. I've been trying to use some of his tips, and one of them is the idea of shading your drawing and building up graphite to fill in the paper. If you have a nice paper, then it will fill a lot quicker. But one that's got texture, it will fill, but your pencil glides along the top and misses the little pits or the textured lower areas. And I just want to give a shout out to him and say, definitely go check him out. Amazing artist, really good at explaining things. He's got all kinds of different things that he does with his audience. I'm just starting, so not drawing. I've been drawing for a long time, but I kind of got certain ideas early on and kind of stuck with them sometimes. Yeah. So I'm drawing a little person up on top of this with a staff or a sword. We'll find out. Big surprise. If you've got any ideas about what you would like me to draw, because I'm decent at photorealism, and I'm decent at creatures. I do a really nice job with the human form. Modesty aside. So if you wouldn't mind commenting at the bottom about what you would like to see, it would really help me know exactly what the audience wants. And might as well say this at this point. Please consider subscribing, just hitting the like button, commenting if you don't mind. I love reading the comments. I'm new, like I said, so I'm not getting a lot of comments right now. And sharing. Sharing is caring. Yeah, if you wouldn't mind doing that, I'd really appreciate it. I say this, I hope not too often, but it doesn't cost anything. You just click the button and it helps me immensely, and it helps you see the stuff you want to see. It just tells YouTube that that's the kind of stuff you like. And yeah, and I'd appreciate it. Thanks. There we go. I don't usually use my finger at all. I don't like getting stuff on my hands, for one. But here I'm just smearing it because I'm not 100% happy with my drawing, so I'm going to lighten it up. Lighten it up. Yeah, lighten it. Yeah, I have anger. What happened? Oh, I saw what happened. I crinkled my paper. So here's the tip. You crinkle your paper quickly, grab it, and roll it, and put it in a stew. Now, grab it, roll it, put it in... Are you awake, honey?
Yeah.
What's that? Grab it, roll it, pat it, roll it.
What?
Pat it, roll it.
Mark it with a T?
Mark it with a letter, yeah, T or B or G or whatever. Yeah, okay. We've got 4 kids. They're all grown now and got kids of their own, but things like that pop out of me accidentally. If that's the worst that pops out of me, we'll stop there. So yeah, roll your paper both ways, and it at least gets the change of height out of it. You'll still see the wrinkle, but it won't cause problems with your graphite. You could also iron it. I'd suggest putting something over top of it, but this is just a sketch. This is just something quick I'm doing, which makes me think I probably should have sped it up. Too late now. Now I've gone way too dark, way too early on this one. But I'm not going to just constantly harp on what I'm doing wrong. Let's find some decent stuff here. The eye and the brow, I think, is nice. When you're drawing, and I think of this when I'm, like, for example, with that brow, think of it as a 3-dimensional object. Don't just think of it like some lines that you've got to color in. So on the brow, I'm going to shade this in. I'm going to think you've got the roundness of the top of the brow, and then it comes down almost vertically, and then it goes under the eye, or not the eye, under the brow, and then the eye is set back deep inside. So there's going to be shading over top of the eye. The eye has bags, especially if it's something you want to make creepy or disgusting or scary. Small little eyes with bags under them is the way to go. Can't figure out how to operate my mechanical pencil. There we go. I've got so many I don't use any particular brand, so they're all different, and it becomes this nightmare. So this is something you can do if you like to. Some people don't like erasing to create highlights. They're a little smarter and they figure out where their highlights are ahead of time. But I wanted a dramatic light, so I'm highlighting any place that light might hit. What I did with my eraser is I trimmed it so it's pointy. That gives me a little more, what is it called, control over what I'm erasing. Probably too much light there, but that's my problem, is I created this very man-like chest, and I didn't want that. I wanted that curve, that belly curve. So I fixed that later on, I do believe. You okay, dearest?
Yeah.
My wife just had knee surgery. Had her knee totally replaced. They put an elbow in it. Dun-dun-dum. I don't. What could you say that's funny about that? She put an elbow in it, and now she. I don't know. Put in the comments a punchline to that. Let's see who out there is funny. I used to be funny. Now, I like the shape of the head, except for the bottom jaw. I've got the back of the jaw, it comes across, and then it juts down, which just looks like a second back end of a jaw. You'll see me change that later on, too. I'm just going so dark there. Just take your time, Mark. Work up. Which is okay to go dark if you know that you want that, because then you have to go in and erase if it's too dark, and which is what I did. There, now you see me creating different values to make that cheekbone curve around into the bags of the eyes. Unfortunately, I don't finish this particular drawing on video. I don't know. I don't have the whole video, so I don't know if my camera gave out, if I got tired, if my toilet overran, which is exactly what happened, which is okay. I just had some family stuff to take care of, and that's okay, right? Yes, honey. I love my wife. My wife is my best friend. Not that that matters to you. If you want a video that has professional stuff, you'll need to go somewhere else. So here we go. Let's talk about this piece of art. I'm creating something important when you're making other things on your creature. You can't just stick them on and say, okay, there they are. You can't just join it to a line that's already there. You have to give some type of indication as to why they're there and how you connected them there. So you can kind of see the horns coming down and then connecting to a little clump of skin, or some bone that the skull has that wraps around that part of the horn. Here I've decided to give my dragon a beard. Clearly he doesn't shave as often as he should. That's not funny. Don't even laugh at that. That was pretty lame. You okay?
Yeah, I'm going upstairs.
Okay. More finger shading, which I don't recommend you doing. It puts oils on your paper. I normally don't do it, but in my brain I'm thinking I got to get this done quick. Because I'm thinking people are watching. They don't want to be bored. So, yeah, don't, I would suggest not using your finger. Like I said, it puts oils on the paper. You also can get your hands dirty and then you spread that around. It also gives a certain look, which can be kind of neat sometimes, but I genuinely like just the look of taking the time to lightly shade where you want shading. Or use I don't know what it's called, a stick. Basically, you can buy them and spend too much money for paper rolled up, or you can take some paper, roll it up really super tight into, like a cone almost, so that it looks like, excuse me, I hiccuped. So it looks like a pencil. Or you can roll it up really tight, super tight. Even put a little bit of a real thin layer of glue. Don't use adhesive like rubber cement or anything like that. Just regular glue, really super thin, even watered down. Roll it up super tight until it's the diameter of a pencil. And then take that and sharpen it after it's dried. and you will have a kind of very stiff smearing stick. It's not called a smear stick, but it's for smearing. And you can buy them. That they do the same thing as your finger, but it doesn't leave the oil behind, and it's a different look. But I would say the best bet is just to use your pencil and just lightly shade what you want. Here I've decided the teeth I want white, so I'm using a white gel pen. I often mix media, and I'm drawing this on a scrap piece of paper, as you see. So it's just something fun I'm doing. I saw the paper and I thought, yeah, I'll make a video. So I'm working on the teeth here, and I guess I'm just approaching this a little bit too quickly. I'm not taking the time to figure out where the teeth should go or actually shade in where, around them very well. And again, I just want to emphasize, this is a thumbnail. This is just for fun, to get an idea of something I might want to draw later or to practice. It's a sketch. It's not a, finished product by any means. I'm going to throw up on the screen right over here to the right. Yeah, that's one of my drawings that I took time to draw. I can't remember how many hours it took, but it did take hours. Then over here on the left of the screen, you'll see some of the creatures I've done for fun, kind of playful creatures. Yeah, so I'm just going in right now and just finding spots I want to kind of change up a little bit. My moving too quickly through this has caused some issues with my drawing. And I'm going to hear in a few seconds here, you'll see that I start addressing those issues. Thumbnails don't have to be quick, but in general, the idea behind a thumbnail, let's talk about that. A thumbnail is a small sketch basically to conceptualize and to see, to visualize that which you are wanting to go further with, or to show someone else what it is you want, you're providing for them. Small, you don't take a lot of time with them because you don't want to waste hours on something that isn't the finished product. It's also just an idea of taking something and throwing out, brainstorming, throwing out ideas. So why would you, if you go slow, you're what's it called? You're cherry picking ideas. You don't want to choose this idea and that idea. And, what's the perfect idea? You want to just go in there and throw out ideas nilly-willy, because some of the greatest ideas come that way. So with a sketch, it's the same idea. You're wanting to not worry about the constraints that your mind has put on you. You just want to be creative and just let it flow, baby. Let it flow. Right? She nodded. My wife nodded. I can't verify that other than just that I'm a total stranger. You're just meeting and you probably should believe me. Right, honey? Mm-hmm. Oh, she said, uh-huh. I don't know if it came up on the sound, though. So here I'm trying to get some dark in there to kind of fix I'm just hitting dark spots nilly-willy, which I shouldn't be doing. I should be thinking more about focusing on something. The darks, what they can do is bring things forward. As you can see here on this arm I'm drawing, it's very light, which is going to set it in the background. That's called atmospheric perspective. And the concept behind it is you want to keep things light, not detailed, a little blurry even, so they look like they're farther away, and that the atmosphere between you and that object is distorting that object. Like mountains in the background, these blurry, smoky-looking mountains that are a dull purple or whatever. That's the sun and the dirt and the air, the dust, the air itself, mist, distorting that background image. Same thing with drawings. You lighten them up. You keep them kind of simple, but the things in the front, they're closer, so you can see the detail. They should be darker. That always pulls things forward. In my younger years, I always thought, okay, things are in shadow, so they got to be dark. And I do all my background in dark, and I couldn't figure out why my images didn't look like Frank Frazetta's. And it's because that darkness was taking all my background and pulling it to the front. That's if I ever figured out that I needed to have some darks. I used to work very lightly, and I'm realizing, in my 30s, I started going, okay, when they say a wide range of values, they don't mean a 1 being, if that's very light, to a 5. You want to get as much, in general. This is a basic rule. It's a guideline. I don't like rules in art, or at least laws. So this is a guideline. You want to go from 1 or even 0 to 10, which would be black in my scale. And so I'm trying to get some white paper that goes from that up to extremely dark. Right now it's like maybe an 8. I don't see any blacks in here anywhere. You would need to get maybe charcoal or a Prismacolor pencil, something like that. I think I bring in a marker at some point. No, I don't. I don't think I do. That's another project I was working on that day. So here you can see I went, oh, I just don't like that shoulder at all. Don't be afraid to erase the stuff you've drawn. What's the worst that can happen? You get something better? So I'm bringing the pec up towards the bicep, the shoulder, raising it. There's that forearm muscle. There's the tricep, and there's the bicep. Some rib bones or muscles. I'm trying to get some shading underneath that pectoral muscle, bicep shading. And again, here's where I'm getting way too dark, way too quick. But I'm doing exactly what you shouldn't do. Don't look at your drawing and be judgmental. Just draw, enjoy it, think about some concepts that are going to help you, but don't restrain yourself to, oh my gosh, this doesn't look like what it should. Afterwards, critiquing it, nothing wrong with that, but don't get discouraged. Okay. Okay. That's not bad. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty close. Let's see here. What do we got going on? Resting my left hand finger right on the eyeball, which I'm sure is blurring it really bad. Mark, it's a sketch. Okay. Honey, do you have any thoughts on this drawing?
It's cool.
She says it's cool. Say it's cool.
It's cool.
Loud.
It's cool.
Thank you, Moo. I like your input because it's always very, very positive. Actually, the truth is she couldn't see it, so she was just lying to you. You're a liar, Melissa. She giggled at that. Comment if you think my wife's a liar. Let me know what you think of that. I want your opinion on that. She's just on her phone. She's not even listening to me.
I'm not a liar.
She says she's not a liar. Now she's got a knife. What? No! Oh, Izzy, it's okay. I'm just funning. I'm just being silly. My dog ran to the phone to call 911, and clearly I was just faking it. It'd be weird if you can't hear anything other than my voice, and it sounds like I'm here alone in a room trying to be funny, which is what I am, except for I've got my wife and my dog, so I'm not alone, but I am trying to be funny. Okay, so I got a little bit less of a big old chest there, got more of a turn to it, working on these weird things that I like to put on my creatures. I don't know what they are. They're just these protrusions that stick out. They're kind of like cattails. If you've ever been next to a pond and seen a cattail, sometimes you'll see them in ditches. on country roads, if the ditch is wet. It's just this bone or cartilage that sticks out with this knobby thing on the end of it. I just like the idea of putting those on there. Instead of wings, they're just these things. Okay, why don't we speed this up a little bit? Take us to the end, and I'll talk over top of that. Okay, I'm a goofball. I paused it, split my video so that I could go in and speed this up. Nowhere on this program can I find a way to speed it up. So we're just going to go through this torturous frame by frame. Right, honey? She said, Okay, so working on the leg. Again, it's kind of a human type leg. I do other than human type things, but I kind of like adding the human type anatomy to my creatures because you expect a creature to be very different. I like this something that you can recognize about yourself inside my creature. Getting some shading going on. Now, here's the problem that I was talking about earlier, and I kind of jumped off the path. The atmospheric perspective. You want to use your darks in the area that you want to draw attention to. And now I've got darks on the head, darks on the bicep, and darks on the leg. I've got these three spots which are just arbitrarily darkened. Well, not the head. It was darkened because that's where I wanted the attention to be. I'm hoping that I have fixed that by the end of the video. We'll see. Working on the tail. So I would love to hear your comments. Seriously, I'm not trying to get people to comment just because I want my video to be popular or something. I enjoy talking to people. I enjoy talking in general, but I enjoy talking with people and hearing what they have to say about things. And advice is always welcomed. Constructive criticism, that is. You want to get on here and just rant about how terrible I am, that's fine, but I'll ignore you. I'll try to ignore you. My ego will probably not let me, but you want to get on here and let me know things I could be doing better. Let me know. Or you want to get on here and tell me about your dog and your wife. I welcome that. Okay, my son, the tech wizard, helped me figure out how to speed this up. On my other program, it's exactly the same as my other program. But I couldn't find where it said speed up, and it was right there in front of me, as usual. So here I'm doing more of the finger blending, which, again, I don't suggest, but if it's just thumbnail sketch, it really doesn't matter in my opinion. Trying to create some twist to the chest and belly with some contour lines. Like it's a segmented chest and belly, so that works. But then to add it also just to create kind of a visual twist to the body. You see the chest goes down and then the stomach kind of turns towards us. And I'm adding some detail to the person sitting on top of the dragon. They seem to have a robe on, a long robe and a sword maybe. Yeah, it's a sword for sure. I have a collection of swords. They're good swords too. They're not like decorative swords. They're legit battle-ready swords because you never know. Barbarian at your door, what are you going to do? Ghostbusters, what are you going to do? So these swords, I love swords. I've loved them since I was a wee lad. I say that because Brits like their swords. If that's incorrect, if you're British and I'm lying or stereotyping, tell me about it. Tell me about it. I'm ready to fight. Okay. Enough of that. Enough racism, Mark. Now I'm just adding a little bit of a shadow to kind of suggest that the tail is not just laying flat or, And then some atmospheric, look like pine trees I'm throwing in there. And I am throwing them in there. I'm not spending any time on the background at all. Just some, now I'm changing that jaw. Yeah, I'm liking it better. And I'm signing it, which means I'm close to being done. Here we go. Let's check it out. It's not done. I went into it and I finished it. I came back to it a couple hours later and finished it, or at least got it closer to what I wanted. Okay, this has been Mark Johnson with Iconica Sight and Sound Studios. I sincerely hope you enjoyed this drawing lesson. After a while, bathroom tile.